What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video, since all of the Genesect drives that are available from research this week actually won't be able to fit into the Open Great League because for whatever reason Niantic made them all level 20 encounters instead of the typical level 15, I figured that I'd use an Elite TM on my regular Genesect to get Techno Blast with the normal typing. Now of course this means that it won't be able to hit for super effective damage up against anything, however it does still hit like an absolute truck, and I was able to get some crazy wins with it. Now initially I tried a few different theme teams alongside this Pokemon, and I'll be honest, I was having an absolutely horrible time and even dropped as low as 1900 elo range before using the team that you can see on screen, which is still a very spicy team. However, it is definitely a lot more usable than the teams that I initially tried. Now, I always say you know you're in the elo pits when one of two things pops up on your opponent's team, the first being a Charge Beam Lantern. Now, I don't know why, but if you drop to a low enough elo, it seems to be the preferred fast move on Lantern for some reason, which obviously doesn't make an awful lot of sense. It is not a very good fast move. And then the other one is any form of evolution not named Umbreon or Sylveon. Very often it's a Vaporeon, and I can't help to think to myself, man, I really need to stop messing around and regain some elo because how the heck am I going up against a Vaporeon? Now someone tagged me in a post on Discord a few weeks ago asking how I define spice compared to just strictly bad Pokemon, and I'll be honest, stuff like Vaporeon to me just isn't spicy. It's just a bad Pokemon that most people have readily available. Anyways, but I'm mentioning that because I did actually go up against both a Vaporeon and a Charge Beam Lantern with this team, which is kind of funny and a little bit depressing really because man, I'm at such a low elo. But anyways, aside from those battles, there were some very entertaining games. So with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. If all of the unique drives were available for Genesect in the Open Great League, which one do you think would be most effective against the current meta? Let me know in the comment section down below. And with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Shadow Palkia into Shadow Hypno. Of course, I've got two steel types in the bag, so I'm going to stay in for initial two Dragon Breaths, then swap out, transfer the confusion damage onto my Berserker, and baiting out a Primeape. So we go straight for Trailblaze. Trailblaze grabs a shield there. Opponent probably could have committed to a farm down there. I'm very glad that they don't. They go for Rage Fist, of course, boosting up their attack, and I'm just hoping that I've dealt enough damage to put them into Dragon Breath farm down range before the opponent reaches another Rage Fist. They go for Rage Fist number 2. I shield that up, and I can just barely get the Dragon Breath farm down. They come back in with the Hypno. We're going straight for Aqua Tail here. Aqua Tail is going to be shielded by the opponent, and I'm going to stay in as long as possible before the opponent would be able to confusion farm me down. We swap into Genesect. The opponent goes for Ice Punch before swapping into a Shadow type Flosion, and that Incinerate did huge damage, but we're able to reach the Techno Blast, get the one shot up against the Typhlosion, and we force the opponent to throw their energy. Now this just depends. Does Palkia have enough energy to reach an Aqua Tail? Yes, we were 2 Dragon Breaths away. We get to the Aqua Tail in time. Aqua Tail will eventually connect. It looks like the opponent has just Rage Quit out of the app, but Aqua Tail takes out the Hypno, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to opponent there into next battle. See Shadow Palkia into Dugong. So this is actually not that bad of a matchup, of course. I'm going to take neutral damage from the ice typing. I'm going to stay in initially, swap, catch the move onto my Berserker, and I don't mind if they debuff me here because, of course, we can just boost up our attack again with Trailblaze. But because they come in with a Shadow Kanto Marowak, I realize close combat is actually going to do more damage here, and Trailblaze doesn't really help me at all because I'm not going to boost up my attack there as I do go down to the Mud Stat damage. We come back in with the Shadow Palkia. I realize if the opponent did go for an extra Mud Snap there, I did not want to throw straight away. So instead, we're going to go for the Aqua Tail here just before they reach the next charge move. Aqua Tail grabs the final shield, and then they make a brilliant catch there, catching the Aqua Tail back onto the Dugong. Aqua Tail is going to connect there. Of course, all shields are down. We can come in with the Genesect. And at this point, I'm going to call a bait from the opponent. The opponent does go for the bait. They go for the Icy Wind, of course, debuffing my attack, and that does mean that I won't be able to go for a full Fury Cutter farm down. So instead, we farm up 2 back-to-back charge moves. X-Scissor gets the KO there. Now I am debuffed, so I'm going to go for the Techno Blast, and even though we're debuffed, Techno Blast gets the KO up against the Kanto Marowak, and they come in with their final Pokemon, a Shadow Drapion. At this point, we are still debuffed, so what I want to do is try to catch the charge move here, and even if I was unsuccessful, it doesn't matter because I clear the debuff. Techno Blast probably would be enough damage to get the one shot. However, I'm going to play it safe. I've got back-to-back X-Scissors. First one does huge damage. You can see a Techno Blast would have very easily got the KO from that range, but we play it safe anyways. X-Scissor number 2 takes out the Shadow Drapion, and I'm able to take that game. So GG so far in their into next battle. We see a Mandibuzz in the lead, and they're actually on Air Slash, so that is very interesting. I'm going to stay in with my Palkia because they're on Air Slash. I can outpace them to the first charge move, go for Aqua Tail, and now I swap into Berserker. The reason I didn't swap out straight away is because whilst of course we do resist the Air Slash damage, we've really only got close combat to hit for neutral damage up against that Mandibuzz, and as well it will debuff my defense. So instead we see a Toxapex coming in, which is very interesting. At this point, I realize I can still live this, and I'm actually not confident that I can go for a shield, fire off a Trailblaze, and get the farm down before the opponent gets to another brine. So instead, what we do is we no-shield that, we save both our shields for the Shadow Palkia, but I'm actually not going to use the shield. Instead, I'm looking to catch a double-resisted Sludge Wave onto my Genesect. It works perfectly, and even better for me, we put them into perfect Fury Cutter farm down range. We've got so much loaded energy. The opponent's going to come back in with the Mandibuzz. I do choose to overfarm just a little bit here, fire off the Exeter, get the KO from that range, and they've got a Zweilous in the back. I have not seen this Pokemon in such a long time, but unfortunately for them, it's not great into Genesect, as of course we got back-to-back X-Scissors. First one grabs the final shield, X-Scissor number 2 gets the one shot, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top end there into the next battle. See Shadow Palkia into Clodsire. So, of course, this is a actually fairly decent matchup for us if they're not on Sludge Bomb. If they're on Sludge Bomb, they will actually be able to get to the charge loose very quickly, but they're going to no-shield the Aqua Tail here. At this point, I can just safely shield this up. They will not be able to reach back-to-back moves, even if they do have Sludge Bomb, so they full send the Earthquake there. Might as well just make sure to get the KO if we were going to no-shield. They come in with a Feraligatr. I'm going to go and fire for an Aqua Tail. This is resisted damage, however, it would still do big damage, so the opponent is going to shield. They swap into Mandibuzz, and unfortunately, once again, this is a really awkward matchup for me, especially since they're on Snarl this time around and not Air Slash. So we're going to go for the close combat here. Close combat is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. You can see that really doesn't do that much damage, about maybe 35% of their HP, which means they can actually just no-shield another close combat and go for a full Snarl farm down, which is very unfortunate. I'm going to come in with my Genesect, gonna no-shield. Hopefully we can go for a Fury Cutter farm down, and we do get that farm down. Of course, Feraligatr does have energy. They're going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon there. We are going to shield, of course, and then fire off the Exeter. Of course, Exeter should be getting the KO from this range, so we grab the final shield, then we swap into Shadow Palkia. We're forcing them to throw their energy, but they do actually overfarm. Have they overfarmed enough here? It's going to be super close, but yes, the opponent barely hanging on with 1 HP and a Dream reaches a Hydro Cannon at the last second. Literally perfect play on the opponent's end there, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's top end there into the next battle, another Hypno in the lead. So we're going to say swap into a Berserker once again, swapping out after 2 Dragon Breaths to transfer the confusion damage onto my Berserker, and we're able to grab a shield there. At this point, since they've stayed in, I'm going to shield, and it is a Fire Punch there, but they swap into Morpeko. Unfortunately, still able to outpace us, winning CMP. I'm going to no-shield, they full send the Aura Wheel there, getting the one-shot up against Berserker, but that's okay, we can come in with the Shadow Palkia. Now, technically, I could have thrown there on CMP, and Palkia should just barely win CMP up against Morpeko, but it is IV dependent. So instead, we opt for the one shield Dragon Breath farm down, and here it is, a Charge Beam Lantern of all Pokemon. We're going straight for Draco Meteor, getting the one shot. We're going to swap into our Genesect. Of course, we know they've got Fire Punch, so unfortunately, whatever they throw here is going to absolutely one-shot us, but we do outpace them to the charge move, and they don't overfarm. That's huge for me. Fire Punch gets the one shot, but can Shadow Palkia once again reach a last second Aqua Tail up against the Hypno? Yes, it absolutely can. Aqua Tail, of course, going to be taking them out from that range, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top end there into the next battle. We see Azumarill in the lead. So, of course, not great for us. I'm actually going to stay in initially because I can at least double resist the bubble damage. I'm then going to swap. I tried to catch an Ice Beam there, but the opponent does not throw. Instead, coming in with a Mud Shot Diggersby. So, we're going straight for Trailblaze. Trailblaze, going to hit for super effective damage, boost up our attack, and this is actually just going to be a Fire Punch. A Fire Punch, it is super effective, but it does not get the KO, and we do just barely reach a last second close combat. So, close combat does grab a shield advantage into the Diggersby, which is very very nice. At this point, we're going to wait out the switch clock, come in with the Palkia, and I'm going to throw on the CMP tie here with a potential Scorching Sands. Aqua Tail is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. We swap straight away into Genesect, and this should just be a resisted charge move. The opponent goes for Play Rough there, which is resisted, but they come in with an Air/Skarmory, and here, I'm realizing Technoblast, not the best move, but it is at least single resisted compared to X-Scissor and Fury Cutters, which are, of course, double resisted. So we do reach an X-Scissor here, hoping maybe we can grab a shield, and we actually do grab that shield, and that is very nice for me, but I make a monumental error. Basically, this is the first time I've seen Skarmory in absolutely ages. I completely forgot that Sky Attack is like 55 energy these days, so I definitely could have overfarmed a lot more than that, and I needed to overfarm more than that because what I need to do here is reach an Aqua Tail and probably a Draco Meteor to get the KO up against Azumarill, so it's going to be very close. Can we still get there in time? We fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail, unfortunately, we're going to have to throw here as the opponent does reach another Play Rough. Aqua Tail won't quite get the KO there. I think Draco Meteor would have done the job despite being double resisted, but unfortunately, because I did not overfarm enough, they can go for the Play Rough, easily take out the Palkia, and we do lose that game. But GG's up in there into next battle, see a Shadow Palkia into Shadow Ninetales. So obviously not great for me, but the opponent makes a huge mistake there, giving me a huge energy advantage. We can go straight for Trailblaze, and now we are just guaranteed to flip this matchup here if we just use the same number of shields as the opponent. They go for an Aqua Tail there, fine with me. I'm going to fire off the Trailblaze on the CMP tie. We're already boosted in our attack. Trailblaze easily gets the one-shot there as they realize they're not going to flip that matchup. They come back in with the Ninetales, but they overfarm. Close combat is going to grab the final shield. At this point, we flip switch advantage. We've also got a shield advantage now. We're going to come in with the Genesect, of course, resist everything they can throw here. So the opponent swaps into Toxapex. We are going to bank the Technoblast there before swapping into Palkia, and the opponent, again, another mistake, going for Brine there. That's double resisted damage. I don't need to shield, and either way, it didn't really matter because I could have just shielded. We got the Technoblast on the Genesect. It's game over regardless, but they come back in with the Ninetales. They don't even commit to the farm down there. Doesn't really matter at this point. We can go straight for Technoblast and up against a Shadow Alola Ninetales. Technoblast easily gets the one-shot, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up in there into next battle. We see Lucario in the lead. So this is definitely a core breaker for the team. And honestly, I don't know what to do. But the opponent is actually going to swap out of this matchup. So we do bank some energy there. I wasn't really sure how long to stay in for because, of course, I was double resisting the bubble damage. However, I do kind of need to maintain alignment here with my Berserker. So what we're going to do is we're going to shield this. They have farmed up to the Hydro Pump. It's just an Ice Beam bait, which is unfortunate. And now the opponent will reach another Charge Beam, but this is not going to be a Hydro Pump this time. So I will no shield. They go for the Play Rough there. I'm going to farm up 2 back-to-back Charge Beams. Of course, Trailblaze is going to boost up my attack once again. They probably come back in with Lucario. So we go straight for Close Combat here. Close Combat grabs the first shield from the opponent. We do have a Charge Beam on the Palkia. However, what I'm going to do is come in with my Genesect, hope that the opponent just goes straight for a Power-Up Punch here. But unfortunately, it's a Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch does big damage. They then swap into a Shadow Aerodactyl. So, aside from that Azumarill, a very spicy team from the opponent. And unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do here. We can fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail grabs the final shield. They're able to Rock Throw, farm me down. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's up in there into next battle. We see Clodsire in the lead. So again, this is a fine matchup for me, unless they're on Sludge Bomb, which it looks like they are, as they do reach that charge speed very quickly. Sludge Bomb grabs my shield. They then swap into a Machamp, and Machamp is very problematic for me, especially now that I'm down a shield here, because I can't really swap out of this matchup here. We got a Pokemon that either deals resisted damage with the Fury Cutters and the X-Scissor, or takes super effective damage from the Karate Chops and the Cross Chops. So what we do instead, we stay in, we fire off the Aqua Tail on the CMP tie, and I'm hoping we've put them into range where Berserker can farm them down with 4 Shadow Claws. But because it's a non-Shadow Machamp, unfortunately that's not the case. I'm forced to swap out there, catch a Cross Chop onto my Genesect. That still does big damage there. We get the Fury Cutter farm down. They come back in with the Clodsire. We know they're on Sludge Bomb, so that will mean that I can go for a Technoblast here. They can't go for Sludge Bomb as it's double resisted. That does huge damage. They then swap, they bank the energy, but that allows me to reach another Technoblast up against Feraligatr. And again, this is a non-Shadow, so it does not get the one-shot, but that's actually better for me because now we can come in with the Berserker. We put them into double Shadow Claw farm down range, which allows me to come out with the Trailblaze loaded. And of course, from this range, Trailblaze takes out the Clodsire there. We win CMP, and I'm able to take that game. So GG top over there into next battle. See another Mandibuzz in the lead. So gonna stay in this matchup here. This time they are on Snarls. Somehow they got off like 2 Snarls like really quickly there. So I'm forced to swap out. You can see I didn't even reach an Arcutel there, and I didn't get a fast move through as I swapped out either. So that really didn't make an awful lot of sense. I guess I just lagged at the start, but just really strange there. But either way, we swap. We bait out a Talonflame, which is absolutely huge for me because Genesect obviously does not want to see fire. And as well, we do grab a shield there, which Talonflame should not be shielding up against Berserker. Even a foul play, really not going to do too much damage there. But either way, we come in with the Palkia, we go for the Arcutel, get in the KO, we come back in with the Mandibuzz, and we're going to fire for an Arcutel just before they reach the next charge move. So Arcutel is going to be no-shielded. We swap into our Genesect, and I'm going to no-shield as well. Opponent goes for foul play there. We should just barely be able to reach an X-Scissor on the CMP tie with this Mandibuzz. We throw immediately. X-Scissor grabs the final shield. So at this point, I am definitely going to shield my Genesect. They must be weak to the Genesect in the back, and they are. They've got a Venusaur. However, we're in range where whatever they throw will actually get the KO. So even though we double resist everything they can possibly throw, I'm forced to swap out, force the opponent to throw their energy as soon as possible. They do actually overfarm just slightly, but I'm able to reach an X-Scissor on the CMP tie, winning CMP once again. X-Scissor gets the KO, and at this point the opponent has just conceded the match there. We are able to get the Fury card to farm down, and we're able to take that game. So GG top on there into next battle. See a Golbat in the lead, so a fairly neutral matchup for me. I'm going to stay in, and again, going to look to swap, catch the Poison Fang onto my Berserker. The opponent goes for Poison Fang immediately there, which is double resisted, but it does debuff my defense. So they come in with Azumarill, and this is actually a bit of an awkward matchup for me. Now, these bubbles are kind of chunking, and it will mean that a Play Rough probably will put me into farm down range before I reach another Trailblaze. So I actually used my shield there, but now I can overfarm. Honestly, I should have farmed up to back-to-back Trailblazers here. I assumed they would shield, but they don't shield. They then come in with Primate. I panicked. I didn't think I'd reach a charge move there, so I swap out. I clear my defense debuff, but of course, they're just going to go for Rage Fist, boost up their attack, and that's going to be even worse for me because they can outpace my Palkia to the next charge move. They're now double boosted. Berserker will not be able to reach a charge move here, and I just have to hope that my switch clock will come up in time for me to swap out, but it's just barely not able to do so. And of course, Rage Fist doesn't actually get the one shot. We swap. It doesn't matter at this point. They can just fully sweep me with a Primate. Pretty embarrassing on my end, but GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, we see a Toxapex in the lead. So, of course, we are going to resist the poison damage on my backline. So what we're going to try to do is catch another Sludge Wave, but I realize they're probably just going to bait. It is a Shadow Palkia. So they go for Brine there. Bit unfortunate for me. I'm hoping to put them into Trailblaze range, but unfortunately, that is definitely not the case just yet. And whilst I could live the Brine, the fact that they're saying in here maybe implies that they don't have the best answer to Berserker in the back. So we go for Trailblaze. Trailblaze grabs a shield. We can now go for another Trailblaze. We are boosted, of course. Trailblaze will be enough damage to get the KO there. They come in with a Malamar, and of course, we're double boosted at this point. Close combat, if it does connect, we'll get the one shot up against the Malamar. They come in with a Dugong. Again, I'm not certain if I would have lived to reach a close combat there, so we clear the debuff. We swap into Genesect. Either way, this is going to be game over. We've got a charge move on the Palkia. We can go straight for Technoblast with our Genesect as well. Grab the final shield, and we're also one Shadow Claw away from a close combat on my Berserker, but we actually reach a last-second X-Scissor. X-Scissor does big damage. The opponent has to commit to a farm down there, which means close combat will, of course, be enough damage to take out the Dugong, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's up on there into the next battle. We see Shadow Palkia into a Serperior. So we are going to actually swap straight away into Berserker. And again, baiting out a Talonflame, which is huge for me because Genesect is just going to get absolutely destroyed by a Talonflame. We go for close combat here. Close combat does connect, and we actually get damage registration error here, which is actually huge for me because this grabs a shield advantage into a Pokemon that really we should not be able to force a shield against. So huge for me. We come in with the Palkia. The opponent actually actually overfarms by 1 Incinerate. They go for Fly. That doesn't quite take me out, but I realize I might be at 1 HP, so there's no point shielding here. I have to hope we can Fury Cutter, farm it down, but no, we take the Incinerate damage. That does big damage, but it's going to be the team that Yonka showcases very frequently, and it is, unfortunately for them, incredibly weak to Genesect. Now that Talonflame is in Fury Cutter farm down range, so at this point we've got a 2 shield advantage here, well, 2 to 1 shield advantage. We're going to use the first shield up against the Aerial Ace. We've just got to be very wary of a catch onto the Talonflame. X-Scissor grabs the final shield. The opponent will outpace me to this next charge move, so it just depends. Is their switch clock up already? They go for the Aerial Ace, and we're able to fire off the X-Scissor. They don't make the catch. X-Scissor will get the KO, and I'm able to Fury Cutter, farm down a Talonflame to take that game. So, GG top in there into the next battle. See Altaria in the lead, so not great from me. Gonna say swap into Berserker. The opponent choosing to stay in initially before swapping into a Medicham. So, Altaria and Medicham, bit of a throwback here. Haven't seen these two together for quite a while, and the opponent is gonna fire a charge move, but this is just going to be an Ice Punch. An Ice Punch is resisted, which means Berserker able to hang on, fire off a Trailblaze. Trailblaze grabs the shield advantage, and it does put them into range where we can Dragon Breath, falling down with the Shadow Palkia. They come back in with Altaria. We swap into Genesect, and they've got a Bastiodon in the back. And what the heck is this team? Like, what season does this trainer think it is? But either way, unfortunately for me, it is going to kind of hard counter me. There's not a lot we can do here. Of course, if I had like the Water Technoblast, then we'd be in a great position. But unfortunately, that is not the case. At this point, I realize it's already game over. I've got 2 shields, but these smackdowns, they're doing too much damage. I'm just going to allow them to fully smack down, farm down my Palkia, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's top end there into next battle. We see Shadow Drapion in the lead, so this is fine with me. Going to stay in this matchup here initially. The opponent does farm up to the potential Crunch. The opponent goes for Crunch there, and Crunch is going to drop my defense, which is not really ideal, but we're going to stay in here, fire off the Arcatel. Arcatel going to grab a shield back from the opponent. We then swap, and we're able to get a Shadow Claw through as we swap 1 turn before they reach the next charge move. However, that's not going to make a difference, as unfortunately, they're not in farm down range. So do I want to shield my Berserker here? No, we're just going to fully sacrifice it. That was kind of pointless from me. Maybe should have swapped out slightly sooner there. But either way, we come in with the Genesect. We get that farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They come in with a Morpeko. Fine with me. We're going to go straight for X-Scissor, and of course, X-Scissor, you've already seen it, will be enough to one-shot them from this range. So the opponent uses their final shield. If they go for a Psychic Fangs here, they might be able to outpace me to the next charge move, but it is the Aura Wheel, which means we could reach that charge move, but instead they swap into a Azumarill, their final Pokemon. At this point, it's still going to be tricky for me. We go for the Techno Blast, and we are just barely able to reach the Nexus. I threw here because I thought it was going to be a CMP tie, but the opponent over farming. I have to swap into my Palkia, and they throw just before we reach the Aquatel. Really good timing by the opponent. We come back in with the Genesect. Can we commit to the farm down? Yes, we're able to do so. And we've got the X-Scissor loaded, of course, up against Morpeko. X-Scissor gets the one shot there. Genesect coming in clutch, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.